Liszt was finishing his 7th symphony. He called it his Leningrad Symphony. It was to be performed in Leningrad in the Philharmonic's damaged concert hall, while German shells still burst outside. The musicians came from the front line for the occasion. A generation later, the remnants of the same orchestra reassembled to perform the same masterpiece to the original audience. Only the survivors of the war were there. The conductor, Elias Burt, was one of the few who had survived. Supplies came in from all over the country by whatever means were available, but they were a trickle. There were too many mouths to feed. Partisans in villages outside the surrounded city, deep inside the German lines, brought in what food they could, risking their lives. They were near starvation themselves. But winter unexpectedly opened a road to salvation. Lake Ladoga, north of Leningrad, was open on one side. The question was, would the lake freeze solidly enough this year to support the trucks? The ice held. The convoys brought food in and took people out. The Leningraders began to call it the Road of Life. But it took 3 days of convoys to supply Leningrad for a single day. Early in January 1942, Leningrad was still on the knife edge of survival. Never had the city been closer to starvation. It was the most frightful period of the siege. But what did come in saved many lives. Convoys continued for as long as they could, as long as the ice beneath would hold during the thaw, even though some trucks vanished through shell holes they could not see. The spring of 1942 brought new hope, but it did not erase the memories. The city began to stir. It was not a rebirth, just a reaffirmation of life. People were very weak from lack of food, some so feeble that their bodies could not accept the nourishment they were given. They died of eating. But now the Leningraders attacked the mountains of rubble. The streetcars went back on their tracks. In one way, the city had been fortunate. In spite of the effects of starvation, there were no epidemics, as everyone had feared. It was as if the people would not allow themselves to be sick. As the spring began, the starving people renewed their battle for survival. Freighters reappeared on Lake Ladoga. pipeline was laid on the bed of the lake to bring in oil. Motorboats towed in tanks full of fuel. More fuel came in along ramps now underwater. The city squares sprouted vegetable gardens. Every inch of soil available was put under cultivation, even close to the front line. Goebbels had predicted, Leningrad is doomed to die of famine. But the people hadn't heard his prediction. Now another honor could be added to the record of Leningrad's achievements. Not a flag or a banner, but a recognition of their survival to be treasured no less than the mementos of former military victories. More than a year had gone by and Leningrad still lived. The German army faced a second winter in the woods outside the city. It would not be their last. Another Christmas. Another winter making gifts for their children far away. In the cities of Germany, the children received their Christmas gifts from loving fathers they could scarcely remember. The same fathers who were shelling Leningrad's children. Christmas parties in Leningrad were held in bomb-proof shelters. Every child got a present, a sad little lump of coarse black bread. Children in Germany and in Russia, heirs to the outcome of this titanic struggle. A child's existence in Leningrad was down to the bare essentials. As far as possible, the children were kept to a familiar routine. A time for play. A time for school, but school in a shelter. The children of Leningrad became acquainted with death before they could learn the sweetness of life.